on both tariffs and, you know, the regulations. Now, I will turn to you, Mesh, and since you have recently come into the infrastructure business, so we would like you to just tell us briefly what was your expectation in coming into this business as an organization after you all, a lot of money is invested into the pipeline, and how do you feel the infrastructure part, whether through regulation or policy? So if you can give us a quick word.
Good evening, everybody. Well, thanks, Vivekji, for setting the context. Before I come to the point that you raised, I just wanted to refer to one of the slides which Vivek put up. I don't know how many of you concentrated on that. One of the slides, it was said that the capacity of the transportation capacity which is available today in the country is about 388 MMSCMD. But whereas utilization level, if you look at, it talks about 39%. This clearly lays down what is the current situation as far as the infrastructure usage is concerned. Forget about development of further infrastructure, but the existing infrastructure itself, where do we stand today? 39% is very minuscule, which I think you all agree that the kind of investments that have gone into these pipelines, it's a very precarious situation. Now, what has caused this, maybe we can deliberate, but clearly the visibility of demand and visibility of supplies, both are equally important as far as my opinion goes. We will further deliberate that point. Now, coming back to the PIL, as you know, this is not a new company rather. This is earlier used to be RGTL, Reliance Gas Transportation Infrastructure Limited. Now, this pipeline, Brookfield of Canada, they have taken over in 2019 through investment trust under the SEBI guidelines. About 2 billion of foreign exchange has flown into the country. Clearly, Brookfield has been investing, they're upbeat about the Indian energy sector because they are also into the renewables. They have a lot of expectation in the context, especially that going forward, a lot of gas is going to come in the country. We are expecting huge gases on the east coast from Reliance and BP as well as from ONGC fields. So they are upbeat on the energy sector, and we are also sure that going forward, initially this pipeline was expected to flow much larger volumes, which could not be flown because of whatever reason, the geological surprises, you could say. But I'm sure that going forward, there is a lot of gas which is going to come, and which will benefit in the industry at large. Now, coming back to PILs, again, operations in the context of utilization that I said, the Indian, I think, gas industry is yet to mature. If you really look at the world density of pipelines, infrastructure creation, which stands at around, in the case of US, it's about 0.05 kilometer per square kilometer, whereas in China, it's 0.005, whereas in Pakistan is much, somewhere around the same, but whereas India is around 0.003 kilometer per square kilometer of the land. So this clearly brings out the fact that we are nowhere compared to the developed countries like US. So that means still a lot of work is required when it comes to infrastructure development in the country. If at all the stated policy or the target of Government of India, which talks about 15% penetration in the domestic energy basket by 2030. Still we have a long way to go, but I'm sure that the kind of efforts which are being put in by the Government of India through PNGRB, they have already started conducting some studies with the help of US Department, and they also engaged the IFC resources of US for giving the recommendations. So I'm sure going forward, all these issues which are there today will be addressed, and they will find some roadmap which is workable in the interest of nation. I think for the time being, I end here. Maybe we'll discuss more on the issues and what solutions lie ahead for resolving the issues which concern the industry.
Thank you, Umesh. Now I would go to the Deepak.